The day I got out, dozens of luxury cars pulled up at the prison gates. Hundreds of my guys dropped to their knees. They opened the door of the lead Mercedes S-Class, begging me to come back and run things. I turned and walked away, leaving them with one line: River Dragon is dead. 15 years ago, I stood alone at the riverside with one blade against 1,000 men. Blood stained half the river. People called me River Dragon. It wasn't until my girlfriend showed up pregnant that I found out I was going to be a dad. Because of my record, no one would hire me. And I wanted to build a relationship with the daughter I hadn't seen in 15 years. My wife kept complaining about the school cafeteria boss serving rotten meat to kids. Said she'd reported him multiple times, but nothing changed. So I set up a food stand outside the school selling lunchboxes. Good quality, cheap prices. Lots of students bought from me. But my daughter Nono wasn't the sweet girl I'd imagined. She was young, but hung out with a bunch of troublemakers. The second they saw me, her friends started laughing. "Isn't that your ex-con dad?" "Dude, I heard you tried stealing scrap metal and cut a power line by accident. 15 years for that? How unlucky can you get?" Continued. Nono was embarrassed. She rushed up to me and begged, "Can you stop coming here and embarrassing me? You're making me look bad in front of my friends." I didn't argue, I just handed her a lunchbox and said gently, "Your mom said you complained about the cafeteria food. I made all your favorite dishes." "Stop embarrassing me. You went to prison for such a pathetic reason since I was little. I had to grow up as a kid without a dad getting bullied. Now I finally got some friends, and you still come here to humiliate me." One of the girls laughed. "Mister, didn't you think about appealing? My cousin broke someone's leg and only got 3 years. You stole scrap and got 15? Ha ha ha. They burst out laughing again. My wife never told our kid my real crime. Can't let people know she's River Dragon's daughter, or I'd bring enemies down on her. I wiped food scraps off my face and said quietly, "Prison isn't something to be proud of. You kids should focus on studying." I pulled out another lunchbox for Nono, she said through gritted teeth. "Having a pathetic dad like you, that's the most embarrassing thing." Right then, the cafeteria boss showed up with a group of guys rushing toward me. He grabbed my lunchbox and smashed it on the ground, jabbing his finger at my face. "Stealing my business, huh? Didn't I tell you if you sell lunchboxes here again, I'd kill you?" I bent down to pick up the boxes. Sorry, I'm leaving now." The cafeteria boss kicked me in the stomach. "Didn't I already warn you once?" No, look, your dad's getting beat up." Nono stared at me hard, fists clenched tight. I knew she was hoping I'd fight back, but I couldn't get in fights anymore. I said sincerely to the cafeteria boss, "Boss, we're both selling $15 meals. I'm not cheaper than you. How's that stealing your business?" "The kids just want decent food," he sneered. "So you're saying my cafeteria food sucks? Let me see how good yours is." The leader of his crew was this big dude. As soon as the boss said that, he grabbed my stand and flipped it over. All the food spilled on the ground and splashed all over me. The boss crouched down, grabbed my hair, and said through his teeth, "You bastard! A dozen parents reported me and couldn't take me down. Now you want to mess with me? You know how many people I know on the streets? Boss, if my stand bothers you, I'll move further away, okay?" My backing down pissed Nono off. She yelled at me through clenched teeth, "Coward, you're pathetic!" After she yelled, the red-haired girl actually dare to fight back? I said, I don't fight anymore. He said arrogantly. Then let go of me. I shook my head. Hit me all you want, but if you touch her, you're dead. Reborn again. The first thing I did was swallow a centipede alive. They respectfully shouted in unison, Boss! Miss! This sudden turn of events left Nuonuo stunned. To him, Yuanda Corporation was something he wouldn't dare even look at. But now the board members were gathered here, pledging their loyalty to him. Nuonuo turned around, confusion filling his eyes. He probably couldn't understand. How did that scrap metal thief of a father suddenly transform? The cafeteria boss went pale, crying out, Gentlemen, you must be mistaken! He's just a lunchbox seller! The moment he finished, my men had already pinned him to the ground, eyes bloodshot, roaring, Today is your last day on Earth. The cafeteria boss screamed desperately, A misunderstanding! It's all a misunderstanding! I walked over to Nuonuo and helped him up. Nuonuo stood up, but his co-workers were still kneeling. I hadn't said a word. None of them dared to move. He swallowed hard and said sheepishly, I'm River Dragon's woman, I'm sorry. I've been hiding it from you all this time. He stared at me wide-eyed. 15 years ago, you took on 1,000 men alone with one blade, staining half the river red. Is that legend true? How could one person possibly fight off 1,000? I said, It's true. I'll tell you once we deal with this guy. I glanced at the cafeteria boss. My brothers understood what I meant. They immediately started dragging him toward me. The cafeteria boss was terrified, screaming, Help! Being dragged across the ground like a dead dog. And that tough guy was frozen too. The one who was so vicious just moments ago. Now his legs were shaking, trembling, trying to escape through the crowd. But he was too scared. Maybe he'd done plenty of evil before. Maybe he'd been in his share of brutal fights, but some things are more terrifying than anything he'd experienced. Like my name. The moment he heard my name, he was scared out of his mind. When you're that terrified, your legs going weak is beyond your control. He was still trying to run, but his legs got weaker and weaker, until finally he collapsed to his knees. He frantically beat his own legs, begging them to work, but it was useless. Before me, he'd lost the courage to stand. My brothers had already grabbed him, dragging him toward me along with every one of his lackeys. I glanced at the red-haired girl and casually said, Bring those few over too. The red-haired girl who'd been mocking us froze, her face going stiff. I don't care how much you hit me, but if you touch him, you're dead. A lunchbox seller threatening me? You want me to hit this little girl? Fine, I'll do it right in front of you. Even though I grabbed his hand, he still tried to kick Nuonuo. But I was faster. The moment he lifted his foot, I kicked his other leg. He lost his balance and slammed hard onto the ground. He ate dirt, and people in the crowd couldn't help but laugh. The cafeteria boss lost face. He got up, furious, yelling, I'm gonna break your arms and legs right now, then hand you over to Yuanda. The moment he finished, the muscular guy charged at me with his crew. Nuonuo panicked. Taking advantage of the chaos, he cried out to me, Run! I looked at the guys rushing toward me, sighed, and gently rubbed Nuonuo's head, saying softly, Do you really admire Dragon? He froze for a second. I said quietly, Then I'll show you. The muscular guy rushed up and swung his fist hard at my face. I didn't dodge, just caught his fist with one hand. No matter how hard he tried, his fist couldn't move an inch. The others saw their boss getting overpowered and rushed in to gang up on me. I just lifted the guy up and slammed him into his crew. They went down like dominoes, screaming in pain. The cafeteria boss freaked out, yelling, Get him! You telling me this many people can't take down one lunchbox seller? Nuonuo saw the chance and grabbed my hand to run, frantically saying, Let's go! Yuanda's people are coming! I said, If we run, they'll just come after us again. Better to end this once and for all. Nuonuo said anxiously, Stop talking tough and save yourself. I'm not pretending. He froze, looking at me confused. I knew I couldn't hide it anymore. Right then, a loud noise came from the sky. People looked up confused. 2 helicopters with Yuanda group on them were flying toward us. The cafeteria boss was thrilled, pointing at me excitedly. You think you're tough? I'm telling you, you're done. Yuanda's people are here. This is your last day on Earth. The crowd parted to both sides. At the end of the road, Rolls Royces and Maybachs were rolling in. Nuonuo saw the scene and started trembling all over. Nuonuo cried to me, Mom raised me alone and waited for you for 15 years. She always told me not to hate you, said you were actually a reliable man. But where exactly are you reliable? I sighed and said, I'm sorry. I held Nuonuo's face, watching him cry hysterically. My heart felt like it was being torn apart. The convoy stopped. My brothers got out of the cars, walking toward me. The cafeteria boss rushed over to them, saying excitedly, Boss, it's this son of a... He pointed at me, spitting everywhere, embellishing the story. This guy's pretending to be Dragon. I wanted to teach him a lesson for Yuanda, but he doesn't even respect Yuanda and tried to run. People at the scene got excited, gossiping. It's really Yuanda group. Oh my god, this guy's dead. We never see these big shots normally, and today they're all here together. Even the punks who hung out with Nuonuo were excitedly pulling out their phones to record us. Recording us, this pathetic display of loyalty was both sad and laughable. Unlike Nuonuo's low-life friends, my brothers looked at me and I sighed deeply. They're my loyal brothers. I was in prison for 15 years, and they waited 15 years, over 5,000 days, never wavering, just waiting for me to get out. To hand everything over to me. I thought I'd never see them again, but here we are, under such special circumstances. My brothers walked toward me. The cafeteria boss was still bragging. I fought him so hard for Yuanda just now. Look how messed up he is, that's all me. Nuonuo saw them closing in and panicked, stuttering. Bosses, this is my dad. He went to prison years ago. His tattoos from years ago, too. After he came back, I hated him for being in prison, so I didn't want to get close to him. Nuonwo got more scared but still stood in front of me. My mom really did wait for him for years. He didn't mean to provoke Yuanda, and he never tried to impersonate Dragon. Please let him go. I'm begging you on my knees. Nuonwo knelt down. For me, he knelt on the ground, sobbing. My heart hurt so bad I could barely breathe. I'd rather see him resenting me forever than see him like this. The cafeteria boss laughed. How sweet. But here's what I don't get. Who the hell do you think you are? How much are your knees even worth? All the Yuanda executives suddenly dropped to their knees, not daring to accept Nuonwo's bow. In that instant, everyone at the scene was stunned, speechless. Before he could even react, the crowd freaked out and backed away. They'd been hiding in the crowd, but with the River Dragon's name dropped, nobody dared to cause trouble. These so-called friends who'd been hanging with Nono looked like total clowns now, just standing there frozen. Heads down, shaking, they walked toward me and stopped right in front of me. The red-haired girl, almost crying, said to me, "Sir, I wasn't trying to mock you just now, I was just joking. Nono, we're like sisters, right? Help me out here." Nono coldly said, "Who's your sister?" Mentioning this made her furious. "When I asked you guys for help, you mocked me. Now you're saying we're sisters? I see right through you." One of my guys came up to me and respectfully asked, "Dragon, what do we do with these punks?" I looked at the cafeteria owner. He was shaking all over, crying. "Dragon. Mr. Dragon. Chairman Dragon. I had no idea who you were. If I'd known, even with 100 lives, I wouldn't have dared mess with you." I walked up to him, looking down at him. The guy got more and more scared, and his pants started getting wet. One look. Yeah, he pissed himself. I sighed and said, "I'm not stealing your business. Our lunchboxes cost the same. If students buy from you, they can sit inside the cafeteria and eat. But if they buy from me, forget shelter from the weather. I don't even have tables or chairs. They have to leave campus and squat on the street to eat. So why would they choose me?" The cafeteria owner swallowed hard and stuttered. Because I'm a crook. Because I'm scum. I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I said, "You don't know you're wrong. You just know you messed with someone you can't afford to mess with. You're apologizing just to escape punishment." One of my guys walked over to the wrecked stall and quietly said, "Dragon, that's 300 lunchboxes a day. Did you knock these over, or did he pay for them?" The cafeteria owner quickly said, "I bought them. I saw Dragon working hard, so I bought them on purpose." I asked, "So you still want me to pay you back?" The owner dropped to his knees. Shaking, he said, "Of course not. I was blind. Please let me off the hook." I said, "Since you bought them, you eat them." He froze, staring at the mountain of food on the ground, and blankly said. One of my guys shouted, "Dragon's cooking not good enough for you?" I'll eat it now." The cafeteria owner crawled over to the food, got on all fours like a dog, and started shoveling the food off the ground into his mouth. I asked, "How's it taste?" He said while eating, trying to please me. "Delicious, way better than mine." I said, "Then finish it all." The owner stared blankly and said, 300 servings? How am I supposed to finish that?" The guys got pissed. "Can't finish, we'll help you." They shoved his head into the food and he struggled to keep eating off the ground. I glanced at the big guy Jing and casually said, "You guys aren't gonna help him eat?" Just one sentence and my guys knew exactly what I meant. They dragged the others over next to the cafeteria owner and shoved their heads into the food too. One of my guys said coldly, "Eat up, eat your fill before you go." That one simple sentence scared the cafeteria owner and his crew senseless. "Boss, what kind of job are we talking about here? We've got mines overseas. But that place? War zones, malaria everywhere. People die there all the time. If you're lucky..." Hair and said softly, "I never planned to do anything to you guys. I just want to say, study hard. Don't worship meaningless stuff. Acting tough at school, calling random people your bros, you think you're cool. But out in the real world, these bad habits will destroy you." She couldn't hold back anymore and started sobbing. I said, "Next time you come to hang out with my daughter, dye your hair back first, okay?" She nodded through her tears. In that moment, he finally couldn't suppress the anger inside and collapsed to his knees. I sighed and started cleaning up the stall by myself. I wanted to keep a low profile. If they hadn't kept pushing, I wouldn't have made a scene. When my guys saw me doing it myself, they rushed over to help. I asked, "Why is everyone so scared of me? You're making Yuan Da look like the mafia." They paused, then said, confused, "No idea. Probably because we're just that rich." I nodded. After cleaning up, I waved at Nuo Nuo, signaling him to come back with me. Nuo Nuo walked beside me, glancing back every now and then because the guys were still following us, refusing to leave. I handed him the last lunchbox and sighed. "What a shame. I made this one special for you, even arranged it in a heart shape." Nuo Nuo took the box, wiped his tears, and said quietly, "I thought we were in real trouble. You should have told me you're the river dragon." I asked, "You were scared, so why did you still stand in front of me?" He cried, "Even though I resent you for leaving for 15 years, you're still my dad. You're still the man my mom's been waiting for day and night." I smiled, wiped his tears, and said softly, "I failed you these past 15 years, but I'll never leave you again." Nuo Nuo got tired from walking and wanted to sit on a stone block by the road. I quickly pulled out tissues and wiped it clean for him. After he sat down, I poured him soup, handed him chopsticks, did everything a father should do. Nuo Nuo held his chopsticks and asked, "What happened when you fought 1,000 men alone? That's not exactly something to be proud of." I looked into Nuo Nuo's eyes and reminisced. 15 years ago, my brothers and I founded Yuan Da Group. We ran an honest business, but back then wasn't like now. There were organized crime gangs that kept using violence to steal our business. Everyone hated them. Everyone wanted to fight back hard. I said, "Brothers, you all have families. Fighting these thugs will ruin your lives. Better to capture the ringleader." Nono swallowed. "I know. I've heard your story. You guys were bullied constantly. To fight back, you drew life and death lots, and you got picked." I told Nuo Nuo honestly, that life and death draw, I was afraid I wouldn't find peace after dying. So I got a Ksidagarba tattoo on my body, praying to Buddha for mercy, hoping I could be reborn as a human. I told Nuo Nuo everything from 15 years ago. I wrapped myself in layer after layer of metal sheets. Since I couldn't move flexibly, I chose to bury myself under the sand at my enemy's sandlot. When he showed up and stood right above me, I stabbed straight through his crotch with a knife. Then I had no choice but to face everyone in that sandlot alone. I can't remember how many times I got stabbed, but thank God I had all those metal sheets wrapped around me. At first they were confused, then they cut through my clothes and saw I was wrapped up like a medieval knight. They lost it and tried to run me over with a bulldozer. The cops showed up just in time. I survived and people started calling me the River Dragon, but I paid the price, sentenced to 20 years. After going to prison, I thought my life was over, until I found out I was about to have a child. I said to Nuo Nuo tenderly, "To be a good father, I reformed actively and got out 5 years early, just so I wouldn't miss watching you grow up." Nuo Nuo swallowed. "Then why didn't Mom ever tell me all these years? It was organized crime, how could we talk about it? We were afraid enemies would come after us. All these years we didn't dare let the brothers help your mom financially or let anyone know your identity. But you're back now. Why didn't you tell me?" I pointed at the guys behind us. "You know why, after 15 years, everyone still wants me as chairman?" Nuo Nuo shook his head. One brother said sadly, "Brother Long had no kids back then. All of us had parents and children. It wasn't until he went to prison that we realized he rigged the life and death draw. He suggested drawing lots, but from the very beginning, he'd already decided to sacrifice everything for us." I smiled bitterly at Nuo Nuo. "I didn't know you existed back then. I even stupidly told your mom to find another man. If I'd known she was pregnant with you, I never would have done it. That year I chose to abandon your mother, and that's exactly why I felt too ashamed to face you. All of you, stop following me. People are gonna think I'm in the mob or something." The brothers got nervous and looked at Nuo Nuo for help. Nuo Nuo said, "Brother Long won't come back to Yuan Da because he values loyalty above all. He says true friendship is pure. He doesn't want our money in return. 15 years ago, we were weak and got bullied by gangs. We could only rely on his protection. 15 years later, times have changed. Now it's our turn to repay that debt. Just convince Brother Long to come back to Yuan Da." I frowned. "You all should go. I didn't do this expecting payback. If you come buy lunchboxes from my stall in the future, that's more than enough to support this brotherhood.